Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Link for Growth TV show. It's Friday, the 4th of November 2016, and as usual, we have a full and packed show for you. We have lots and lots of stuff to go through and discuss this week, so we'll get straight onto it. As usual, you can contact us through Twitter at L4GSWHearts. That's at L4GSWHearts. If you have any comments or views about what we're talking about on the show today. We hope later to be getting Sara Jane Trebar onto the show. She is planning to come on. And Chris, you were originally going to be talking to her, but it's been a slight change of plans due to weather conditions.
Yeah, she looks after children after school, and she's got rain is basically caused havoc, and having 9 children standing in the rain, having an interview with me wasn't high on her list of priorities. So she's going to come on the show, but I think it's going to be a voice-only interview. We just got to make sure the technology is working, and we hope to have her on a bit later on. Okay, that's great. Tania is away this week, so I'll be talking about how Watford Borough Council is a gold standard employer. Watford Library has been given a new lease of life, and why Three Rivers District Council will be turning purple in the spring. Neal, busy week in the sport.
Yep, sorry about that. This week, so I've been talking about the scandal at Watford, Riva takeover, and some departures from the board, and I also have reports on last week's game, highlights, forecast for tomorrow's game, and some rugby, football, local football, and golf. Okay. I want some big boxing news. Sorry, big boxing news.
Yeah, there is. Yes, we'll come to that later. I mean, it's big news and very exciting. And Catherine, there's all sorts of things happening this weekend. I suppose the focus is on fireworks, though, is it?
Yeah, there's lots and lots of organised firework displays going on this weekend, some tonight, some tomorrow night. So I'll give you the rundown of that. Lots of other things happening as well. Some things even edging into Christmassy things. So I shall tell you more about that later.
Oh, I don't know. It sounds interesting. Now, instead of me doing Link for Growth and last week, since Chris is on and he's in the studio and everything, Chris, perhaps you could tell us what happened with Link for Growth in the past week.
Well, on Tuesday evening, which was the 1st of November, we had the second of the drinks evenings in Abbots Langley. Now, that's a part of the district that we haven't historically had a lot going on. So we've got that cracking. There's 2 lovely ladies looking after it, Marina Quinn and Rachel Brett. And it was really good. It was in the Royal Oak, which is just set back off the main drag there as you're going into Abbots Langley. Plenty of space there. We've got a nice little cubbyhole place there which seats about 15 people, and some great conversations, interesting folk, and the potential for another event to be starting in that neck of the woods around Leavesden. We're looking at a pub which could possibly do a coffee or possibly another drinks evening, but more on that later.
Okay. And also yesterday it was Perk Coffee.
It was. Now, Carpenter's Park, this is an interesting part of our district because it's kind of, it's almost detached from the rest of Watford a little bit. It's detached because it's out on the Harrow Road. Is it Watford Road? I think it is. I don't know. I don't quite know what the name is, but you're going out of town, and there is almost a sort of space of greenery with no housing on one side. And then on the other side, you've got a railway line which separates it from Oxley, and it does, South Oxley this is, and it does separate it. I mean, it's never the twain shall meet pretty much. And so you've got this enclave of, and it's a real mix of bungalows and all sorts of things, but it's almost like a population all on its own. And you can't get out of the place unless you've got a car, to be fair, because there's hardly any buses that run down that neck of the woods, or if they do, they're quite infrequent. So it's a very odd place. Now there's a row of shops down there called Delta Gain, and so it's a shops that service the area. There's a load of houses. I mean, two of the people there have agreed to distribute some sort of leaflets to try and get more local participation in the event down there. And there's 300 houses in the street. I mean, it's like that's a big street in anybody's language. And so there's a lot of people down there, and not a lot going on, and very difficult to get out of it. It's a bit like St Albans, really. So the Perk coffee shop down there is incredibly well frequented by local residents, and we had the ex-chair of the council down there, 2 councillors. We had the clerk of the parish council down there, plus people from the community, and plus some businesses. So it was a real buzzing event down there, and loads of stuff happening down there in terms of development for Link for Growth. So very, very good meeting.
Okay, that's great. And of course, last Saturday you're at Barracuda next to Watford Market. I'm
always down there, and well, in fact, I will be down there again tomorrow. There's no official event down there. If anybody's interested in going down there and sampling there, I tell you what, I've been going down there for, what is it, a year and a half now. I think they've just about got crispy bacon as a request cracked. I did offer to go into the kitchen and demonstrate how I like it, but I think that ushered in a new dawn in the crispy bacon front.
Okay, so crispy bacon at Barracuda is not the only Link for Growth developments going to be happening soon, is it?
No, it's a very interesting time in Link for Growth, and Link for Growth has almost been in existence for 5 years now, and it's interesting that people often say, "Well, I don't hear much about it except from the publicity that we give it ourselves." And Link for Growth is a very, very well kept secret, to be honest. But that's not a bad thing, because what we've been doing over the last 5 years is building the foundation, and of course, foundations which have been put in place are to ensure that the model that we're using is scalable to a global level. So it's not about we've got it right for Watford or Southwest Herts. We've got it right for the country. We've got it right for other countries, and we've got it right for expansion around the globe. So it's now time to unleash that structure, but the right and proper structure for an organisation which is for the people, by the people, is to be owned by the people as well. So Link for Growth is going to be an association. Anybody that's been a member for 14 months is automatically going to essentially be a part owner in the organisation. And it's not down to a few people to make the decisions. Now, there'll be a transition period, of course, like anything of this magnitude. They'll need a constitution to be written, but it's outside of the systems that are in place. So it's not registered a company's house, it's not registered a charity, it's not funded by business or the government. So consequently, it's an organisation which is just basically down to us to perpetuate. It's been built by us, it's populated by us, and its direction is going to be determined by us. And if I was going to invest my time in an organisation, I'd want to know it was going to be there in 10 years. I'd want to know that, because otherwise I'm kind of wasting my time. But there's nothing to go wrong with Link for Growth going forward. It can't be shut down. It can't be closed down. It's ours to do as we choose with. And this is going to be replicated in every country that we end up being in, which is the vast majority of them, because we're starting in Hungary in January, and that is the first time that we'll have to build the international layer to go along with that, because it will be the UK and it will be Hungary and others, and we'll need a platform above that to put all these into, and perhaps even a regional sort of continental type of layer as well. But so, you know, we're cutting our teeth with Hungary, which, you know, as you know, is a place I know fairly well, and I've got a lot of contacts. And the book is currently being translated into Hungarian too, which is really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that, the book in a different language. That'd be quite exciting. But But yeah, so lots happening. But the Hungarian version of Link for Growth will be owned and run by the Hungarians. It's got nothing to do except borrowing the 5 years worth of work and platform building. It's going to obviously borrow that infrastructure and implement that infrastructure there. But obviously, it will be based on what Hungarians want to do in Hungary.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Chris. That sounds really exciting. The association is likely to happen in January or February next year, isn't it? Before we'll found day.
Yeah, the intent is for it to happen in January, like all these things. The intent is the key, because if it slips a month or 2 months, it's not the end of the world, because the intent is very clear. But it's a very exciting thing, this, because it's the first time in history, I think, that we've had something that is actually directly under the control of the people, and not with old systems and mechanisms that have been in place for centuries, really. And it's ours to manage as we choose, so we can create what we want. Okay,
that's great. We'll be hearing more from you a bit later on, just before I interview Sara Jane, and will you give us some background information on the story of the Farm Terrace Allotments?
Yep, I will do. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that, Chris. See you later. In other local news, Watford Borough Council has been granted a gold standard employer. It's joined the top 3% of employers to be awarded the International People Management Organisation's gold standard, and that organisation is the Investor in People accredited organisation from more than 75 countries, and only 420 out of 14,000 organisations have achieved this status. Inspector said the council is without doubt a progressive and bold organisation. They go on to say that staff are responsive and receptive to change, and are supported in many ways to give their very best. They punch well above their weight and recognise what a great place it is to work. It also goes on to say that job satisfaction levels are high despite increasing workloads because of sound leadership, effective management support, effective performance review, and increasing levels of accountability and staff empowerment. Elected Mayor of Watford, Dorothy Thornhill, said, "Our people are our most valuable asset, and we do everything we can to support them. We will continue to support them throughout the challenging years that lie ahead as the council faces reduced levels of funding for central government." Mark Watkin, who's the councillor with portfolio responsibility for resources and customer services, said, "We always aim to do our best for our staff so that they can deliver the best possible service to their customers, and so, whether they're Watford residents, businesses, or indeed each other. It's vitally important to invest in the development of our employees during these challenging times. I'm very proud that our investment has now been recognised." The council's IIP assessor noted that it is a listening and learning organisation, so its current leadership is the best it has ever been. Many council employees said that their current job was the best they'd ever had. Investor in People accreditation is a standard for people management, helping organisations to lead, support, and manage people well. The Gold Award shows that Watford Borough Council is an excellent employer of choice. It also highlights the organisation's strong commitment towards corporate social responsibility and supporting local businesses, taking on apprentices and offering work experience placements for students and unemployed. So it's really good news for the council and a feather in their cap. Watford Library has been given a £400,000 makeover with a new learning centre. The learning centre will be opened later on today, and there are events happening all over the weekend, of which Catherine will be bringing us details then. The new facilities in the Hempstead Road building include a state-of-the-art creative space, the first for libraries in Hertfordshire, which is filled with technology such as tablet computers and 3D printers available for public use. Russell Barrow, area librarian for West Hertfordshire, is quoted as saying that the space was inspiring and an inspiring modern addition contained within a classic 1920s exterior. So outside it's a traditional building, but inside it's built from 1928, but inside it's an inspiring 21st century library, he said. He goes on to say that the library has been completely refreshed and updated. The first phase of much of the £4,000 renovation costs have been supplied through Section 106 agreements, which is money paid by housing developers to supply infrastructure, with the Hertfordshire County Council also donating funds. The first phase of the project began in June, and the creative space will formally open for the first time on Monday. The launch weekend showcasing those new facilities will take place this weekend, and as I said, Catherine will be talking more about that nearer the time. That is what is happening in Watford Central Library. Planning for growth and engaging with our local businesses. Hertsmere Council have put out an appeal saying that work is getting underway to gather ideas about what could and should be included in the new local plan for Hertsmere, bringing exciting opportunities to engage with individuals and groups across the borough. As part of that work, they're staging a business engagement event to help gather views on the, on the main economic opportunities and constraints in the borough. The event will take place at the Metro Bank in Boreham Wood on Thursday, the 24th of November. I believe it starts at 6 o'clock. The event is aiming to provide local business owners and managers a platform to air their ideas on how the council can harness future economic growth in the borough and work together with the businesses to tackle any obstacles that hinder progress. These ideas will be key to starting the development of the new local plan. The local plan identifies what sorts of developments will be allowed, where, and the factors that the council should take into account when planning applications for any sort of development are put forward. So it's actually quite an important initiative, this. The council, Harvey Cohen, portfolio holder for planning and local tourism of Hertsmere, said our local business leaders have a wealth of information and ideas at their fingertips, which they're keen to gather. I'm sure that they'll be able to provide suggestions on how the council can tackle issues that will help to enable economic growth across the borough. The information gathered from this event will inform our planning for commercial and economic development in coming years. So that's the free event where you can pitch your ideas to the council on the business development in Hertsmere Borough or Hertsmere District Council. The event starts at 6:30 and takes place at Metro Bank, Boreham Wood Shopping Park, Unit 3E, Theobald Street in Boreham Wood. You can book your place through the link that is on the council website, which is www.watfordchamber.co.uk/events. That's watfordchamber.co.uk/events. Hertsmere Borough Council have featured in a lot in our news this week because plans that they have put forward for developing a new supermarket and hotel in the area around Radlett have been slated, and with many people saying they could destroy the village. The public exhibition earlier in October, 328 people living in Radlett opposed the plans to build a Travelodge and Marks and Spencer's on Newbury Car Park in Watling Street. The council, that's Hertsmere Council, argued that the development would reinvigorate the village, but the residents and campaigners said Radlett did not need a hotel and supermarket and it would cause local traders to lose business. They also feared how the new development would impact traffic and said the buildings were not in keeping with the village. They argued the council was more interested in making money than improving the area. The resident Bill Grimsby, chairman of the campaign group The Residents Against Newbury's Car Park Scheme, TRACK, said the scheme has been produced to fill a gap in the council's annual budget. The majority of the shortfall will be met by this scheme. 8,000 Radlett residents will have their village destroyed for short-term benefits of 100,000 residents in Hertsmere. TRACK is committed to getting this scheme stopped. So the campaigner said they feared for the future of the high street and questioned why an 80-room hotel was needed when there is a Premier Inn less than a mile away, an existing hotel in other words. Members of Tracks added that car parking spaces would be lost because of the development, but the council argued it will create more. Herts Borough Councillor John Graham, Cabinet Member for Finance and Property, said, "We recently held 2 public exhibition events to show the current designs for the proposed development of Newbury's car park. More than 400 people submitted their views and feedback about the proposals. Where possible and appropriate, those views will be incorporated into the final design that is put forward for planning permission. We received a very diverse range of views. Several people commented favourably about the scheme, the opportunity it would bring to regenerate the site, and also about the design. This is an important scheme to Radley, aiming to improve existing car parking provision on the site and to develop a premier food retail store and hotel above the car park. It is estimated that the development will bring 85 full or part-time locally employed jobs. So obviously there's more to go on there. We will be following this story and see how it develops in the future. Herts Borough Council have also asked for local residents to give us a bag of help so it can share funding by voting for the council scheme to improve the toddler play area in Fulzer Lane, Potter's Bar, with a cash boom from Tesco's Bags of Helps initiative. Supermarkets teamed up with Groundwork, received grants of between £8,000 to £12,000, all raised from the 5p bag levy, being used to fund local projects to create and improve outdoor spaces. So the council say if they receive the highest level of funding, they'll be able to remove some of the old outdated wooden play equipment and replace it with 3 new and exciting pieces of play equipment, as well as general improvements such as new self-closing gates, increases safety. More votes means more funding and therefore more toddler fun. So obviously if you're living in that area, get along and buy some bags and from Tesco's, and that will be indirectly supporting the local councils and areas. Three Rivers District Council are planning to plant flowers for the Purple for Polo scheme. The Rotary Club of Rickmansworth, together with the support of Three Rivers District Council, is working on planting 5,000 bulbs or corms in the area to support the Rotary Crocus campaign, which is one of the leading international fundraisers for End Polio Now campaign. Rotary International dedicated more than 30 years and contributed millions towards the goal of a polio-free world. Locally, it is hoped that the 2 sites in Rickmansworth for corn planting will raise awareness and funds for polio in the UK and worldwide. The beautiful purple flowers will be planted at Rickmansworth Library in the High Street and along Berry Lane at the junction with Coombe Hill Road. The leader of Three Rivers District Council, Andrew Scarf, along with the groundwork team and a few Rotarians, started the planting on October 27th. The chairman said we have seen polio, and we haven't seen polio in the UK for decades. However, there are still places that it's a threat to children everywhere. This project will not only help protect people from polio, but add some wonderful colour to the 2 areas. More fundraising efforts will commence later in the year, together with an extra M&S collection in the spring, specifically for Purple for Polio. And that is it for the news. So we still haven't got Sara Jane on, so we'll go straight to the sports news. Hi, Neal.
Hi, Diane. How are you?
I'm losing my voice by the sounds of it.
Oh.
I don't normally do so much talking, as you know. I normally let everyone else talk. Anyway, developments on the scandal we first talked about last week, with Watford being investigated by the English Football League about the takeover of Gino Pozzo from his father back in 2012.
Yes, so there's a couple of developments on this front. So the first news being that our executive chairman, Raffaele Riva, has resigned his position. He didn't obviously give the reason for the scandal. He said he wants to concentrate on other businesses, but I think it's pretty plain that he's taken the fall for it, because he was the person in charge of producing the letter that turned out to be a forgery. And Scott Stuxbury has taken over and now doing a dual role with his existing role. So he is now the executive chairman of the club. And on the other side of it, Watford have finished their internal investigation. They hired some solicitors to do investigation, and they've handed that into the Football League. And they are very confident they have had no wrongdoing whatsoever, and they're very confident that they'll be found not guilty of any wrongdoing.
Do you think this is going to have much effect on the day-to-day running of the club?
It shouldn't, and it's backroom stuff, and nothing really needs to bother the players. It could be a fine. There's threats of points, but it's never been done before because they haven't got the right to take points off a Premier League team. And as Mazzari has openly said, he had 11 points docked off him when he was in Italy, and it made no difference. They managed to stay up, so he's not bothered in the slightest.
Okay. I mean, Watford say they've acted with good faith, honesty and integrity.
It does seem like the club have actually. I'm not just saying it because I'm a Watford supporter, but when you look at the serious events that have come to light in the papers, it seems like it's one transaction between Riva and the person he tasked with getting the letter. It still hasn't come to light why the gentleman got the forged letter, but it sounds like the club did everything they were supposed to do. Okay.
Now, following Watford's 1-0 win against Hull, which let's talk about that, shall we now? Good performance, bad performance, mixed? What was it? I mean, it was an own goal that won the game for Watford, but was the result a fair reflection of the play?
Yeah, 1-0 with an own goal is a bit deceptive, to say the least. We ran them ragged most of the afternoon, and in the first 10 minutes we had hit the post and the crossbar. And Norden Amrabat was having field day down the right wing, getting over and crosses in. But when you look at the stats, they don't actually make good reading because Watford had 20 odd chances, none on target. So they need to practice and get some shooting boots on next time. Next time you've got 20 chances, if you could tuck a couple of goals away so people aren't sweating till the end of the game, that would be nice.
Did you have any fingernails left by 90th minute?
Sorry?
Did you have any fingernails left by the end of the 90th?
Oh yeah, it was quite. It was a weird one. It was always you felt completely in control of the game, but just wondered when the goal was going to come. But we had who came on as sub? Oh, Yamak. Sorry, Daryl Yamak came on as sub at right back sort of position, and as soon as he came on, it's completely changed the game, and we looked much more direct. And he was actually the one to put the crossover that was the goal. So it's good to have him back in the side, and him and Amrabat down the right hand side looked like they could be a really dangerous pairing.
Now, it wasn't that long ago that Watford seemed to be scoring goals for fun, and that they were one of the league's highest scorers. The last 3 games they struggled a bit. What's changed?
I think it's the teams we've played, tell the truth, because the teams we've played have been more defensive against us. They've not tried to come at us, and we are playing a slightly counter-attacking type of football. So it does rely on them creating spaces at the back. So Hull certainly banked up against us, 2 lines of defence, and it is a lot harder. It is a lot harder to break down. I think you will see Watford score plenty of goals in other games this season, but I don't know if this is going to be a trend against the teams that are towards the bottom end of the table are just going to defend against us, because now we're sitting 7th in the table, which is an excellent place to be in this time of season. Teams are going to start worrying about us taking points off them, where at the beginning of the season they were probably expected to be the other way around, because we yet again were favourites to go down according to everyone.
Okay. Talking of favourites to go down, Kevin Affleck has written an opinion piece following the win against Hull, saying forget relegation, it's now a question of how high Watford can finish. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's nice of Kevin to agree with what I said right at the beginning of the season. It's nice. I definitely feel it. It's brave to write it and put it down in paper, I must admit, but and no one at the club would admit that. I mean, any football team, they all want to get to that 35-point, 40-point mark before they will even discuss things like this. But there are many far worse teams in the league than us, and certainly, as Kevin said in the piece, you cannot see Hull winning 3 more games than Watford for the rest of the season. Sunderland looked doomed. So there's probably only one other place. We're bound to have a bad trot at some stage in the season, but we've just looked too good. Our squad's too strong.
Right, okay. Now, Watford have always been based on and positioned themselves as a community club, especially since the Graham Taylor, Elton John era. And Deeney and Graham Taylor, Troy Deeney that is, and Graham Taylor opened a £1.9 million local training centre this week.
Yeah, this is great news because, as you say, yeah, long reputation of bringing players through and being a community club. So they refurbished Watford, along with community groups, have refurbished Meriden Sports Centre, and it's got a new artificial pitch, a changing rooms, cafe, and it's just open to develop young's talent, men and women's game, and hopefully we'll see some young players come through. It's an excellent facility and much needed in the area, so it's really good work by the club.
Okay, and talking of things getting better, Chris Stark, who apparently is a Radio 1 DJ and Hornets fan, says the 1881 movement are really helping to create a much better atmosphere at Watford than used to be the case. Yeah,
so Chris Stark, he's famous for, he's a Radio 1 DJ who basically keeps hassling famous celebrities trying to get them to come to Watford on every show he does. He's quite famous for it, which is quite funny, including Jennifer Aniston, but it's quite funny. But yeah, he's right. The 1881 club has done a good job. Still not quite as big as it should be, in my opinion. I still think it's in the wrong place in the ground. It would be nice if it was at the centre and the back of the stand rather to the one side to get people clapping and chanting more. But Watford is a notoriously quiet ground. The fans are there to watch the football, and they sort of want the team to impress before they start getting involved. And the 1881 are trying to change that atmosphere around and make sure that the fans are cheering and egging the players on. And they've, to a certain degree, they've done a good job. I'm not doubting that Chris Stark's received messages from away supporters saying how good our fans were, but I sit up the other end of the Ralph stand, one of the quiet people, I will admit. And sometimes it's very quiet in there for a very long period of time, but bigger than it used to be.
You're in there with your pipe and slippers, I know, Neal.
Yeah, I'm getting to that age.
I don't believe it for a moment. Now, transfer window doesn't start for another, 8 weeks or so, January. But Watford are already looking to ship out, according to some reports, one of the people they signed last January, but who didn't join the club until this summer.
Yeah, so there's already been paper talk about several players. Just nonsense talk, really, but this one seems to have a bit of validity about it. So Decor came in with quite a good reputation, coming from Canada. Thought he was going to walk straight into the team. Only played 6 minutes this season. By all accounts, Mazzari doesn't fancy him, and they're looking to ship him out, either sale or on loan at Christmas time. This is what happens when you have new managers, and it isn't the manager that's doing the buying, it's the club that's doing the buying. It happened a lot over the last few years. I just think it's our business model now. This will happen again. The thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a profit on him the way the Pozzos seem to work. Play a few minutes in the Premiership and they'll probably turn a profit on him.
Well, he's suddenly a Premiership player, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now Watford have got a big game on Sunday, isn't it? Against Liverpool.
Yes, huge against Liverpool. Liverpool are the form of the team at the moment, playing excellent football. Free-flowing, scoring goals left, right and centre. So it could be a very worrying trip for Watford up to Merseyside. All the predictions are we're going to lose 3-4-0. But as Darryl Hammett says, there's nothing to lose. If Liverpool are going to go for it, we might as well really go back at them and just have a ding-dong battle with them. There's no point sitting back and trying to defend against a team that have got the likes of Coutinho, skillful players like that in. So we might as well go up there and give it a go.
Okay. Few injury worries there for Watford, aren't there?
Yeah, and unfortunately, Prodell is definitely out of the team, and he's been rock solid at the centre-back this year. And that means two options are Cabaselli, who's only played a few minutes, or Mariappa, who's not played at all. So he does have another option. He could change the formation to 4-4-2, even though that's not his favourite formation, if he just wants to stick to players who have had match time, but that's up in the air. No one's going to know that until just before kickoff, I guess.
Yeah, and as you said, both Merson and Lawrenson are predicting 3-0 or 3-1 defeats for Watford.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to listen to Lawrenson. He, up to last week, his predictions had us second bottom when we're sitting seventh. So yet again, Lawrenson's predictions are all over the place.
Okay, so what's yours?
I'm going to say we'll lose this. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. We'll lose 3-2, probably. My heart doesn't say that, but my head says we probably will.
Okay, so we'll go with the head then, will we?
Yeah,
okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay, now Kings Langley, they've had a very kind of mixed week, haven't they? They've won 2 games, but they've lost 2 managers.
Yeah, so start with the manager talk first. The Paul Hughes and Richie Hanlon, who got the 3 successive promotions, did amazing work for them. Unfortunately left the club, and it's probably down to the financial situation. Kings Langley haven't managed to find a new buyer, and they've had a 50% cut in their budget. They said a few weeks ago they weren't happy about that, and to be fair, they're probably being courted by a lot bigger clubs than Kings Langley now, and so they're probably going to end up going on to bigger and better things, and you can't really blame them for that. But Paul Hobbs, the interim manager, is praising them left, right, and centre, and justly so. And he got the benefit of the new manager kick on, because they had 2 wins in the week, both in cup games: FA Cup first round qualifying and Herts Senior Cup. The first round qualifying was a really important game, because actually they got £2,500 for winning that, so that eases their financial pressures quite a bit, and they could, if they get through to the next round again, that'll be another £3,500. So that could help them out a lot. But best of luck to Hughes and Hanlon, and let's hope the new manager can carry on their good work.
Yeah, apparently they've already been appointed to joint managers at Hayes and Yedding.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, well, if they've managed to keep them as a team, then they've done well, absolutely.
Okay, now Kings Langley do have a game tomorrow, but it's in the league.
Yes, back to league tomorrow, home against Dorchester Town, 3 p.m. They've been sliding in the league a little bit recently, and they're down to 16th, but they're up at about 10th at one stage. And they're playing Dorchester, who are 17th, so it's not a must-win game. They're not at that stage yet, but it's an opportunity to beat someone who's around you in the table.
Okay. Now, talking of someone who needs to win and beat someone, Valerians unfortunately lost their 6th game on the trot. Yeah,
6th game on the trot, 12-25. Didn't quite ship as many points as they had been lately, but that might have something to do with the fact that the opposition had a player sent off. But big opportunity tomorrow, because they're playing the bottom team, and they are at must-win position now. If they lose to the bottom team, their morale's going to fall through the floor, and it can't be great already. So they're away to Sudbury, and the kickoff is 3 p.m.
Okay, and Sudbury, as you say, are bottom. They've only got 1 point from 9 games.
Yeah. But if 3 points or 4 points, if it's a big win, that would get them right up neck and neck almost with Valerians, and they don't need that.
Okay, thank you. Golf. We talk about Sinquel, and he's having another pretty good weekend.
Yep, 7 shots off the lead, 47th in the table, and sorry, 1 second. I'll call you straight back. 1 second. So he is sitting 73rd in the European League at the moment. He needs to get up to 60 to enter the Dubai final race to the road to Dubai. And the way he's playing, he is right on the border of being able to do that. So good tournament here could help him put him in that final round.
Yeah, his second round was 1 over par, so he's
still there and thereabouts.
Yeah, so he's now 16 shots behind the leader, but the leader is on -15, and the player in second is on -9. So that's, I mean,
it's not too bad. It's enough. It's enough, because they've still got another tournament to go.
Yeah.
If he's made the cut, he would have made the cut with that. So It's enough, but he needs a couple of good rounds.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Boxing now. Anthony Joshua. Let's start with who he's going to fight next. First.
Yes. So, rather disappointingly, everyone was hoping for a Klitschko fight before Christmas in December. It's an American called Eric Molina, who he's won a few, lost a few, but you would say is someone that Anthony Joshua could beat. But the big news is that the Klitschko fight is confirmed for the spring, because the WBA have confirmed that they will allow him to fight for the WBA title in the spring. So the Molina fight takes on all the more importance now, because Anthony Joshua will need to put that away early doors and keep concentrated and not think too much about the Klitschko fight.
Yeah, and Klitschko fight, they said, will be for the WBA belt.
That's correct. That's correct.
What's so significant about the WBA belt?
The two big belts are WBA and WBC. The IBF that Anthony currently holds it is very much one of the minor belts. So yeah, that gets you up into the like Americans are taking notice, and also lots of TV money comes in, and you become pay-per-view in America. So that's what you need to make it, really.
Right. Okay. So in other words, it's a huge money-making opportunity for a very talented boxer.
Indeed, and not just money making. If you want to go down as one of the all-time greats, you've got to be winning these rather than just the IBFs.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Neil. You can now go back and answer your phone.
Okay, sorry about that.
Don't worry.
Have a good show.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you around. Okay,
see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Hi, Chris.
Hello, how are you doing?
Fine. Any news on Sara Jane?
Yeah, I've sent her a message. We've done a little test hangout, so I'm hoping that. Oh, there she is. She's popped up as you spoke. So she's there now. I've asked her to mute herself while we get the introductions. But I know she's on a bit of a timeline, so we don't really want to be taking too long with my rambling on.
Okay, so why don't you just very briefly go over the history of what's happened with Farm Terrace Allotments?
Okay, so this story has been going on for 4 years now, and it came about really a long time ago now, when basically the Farm Terrace, which is down behind the football club there, was basically selected as a piece of land that the council wanted to build this wonderful new hospital and the health campus. But of course, as the plans came out, it was less and less like a health campus and a health thing, and more like they just wanted it to build some more houses to make a project viable rather than non-viable, and no sign of a hospital, because actually a hospital building programme requires a huge amount of different consultations, and so the people who have been on these allotments for like decades upon decades, quite rightly so, said, hang on a minute, you shouldn't be just building on allotments and snatching this needed land close to the centre of the town and just building stuff on it. That's not right. That's wrong. It doesn't set a good example, and allotments have been severely compromised over recent years anyway. And Sara got really quite upset about it in some aspects due to her children who love it down there, and actually is part of the community, and to have ostensibly this huge space which could be used for growing food, social and community rejuvenation, and a place where kids can run around and find out about nature and stuff, and just snatch it away because what might look like greed really in terms of developers was not on. So fueled by that protest of the children, really, Sara built a team of people and began to campaign against the council in order to retain the allotments. And throughout the whole of this 4 years, there's been a series of meetings to sort of work out whether there can be any compromises, whether the things can be rearranged, the plans can be changed in order to accommodate both groups of people and not just arbitrarily stomp over what is really a little bit of a jewel in the town's crown, really. So what's happened now is that after winning cases for 2 or 3 times, there are renewal, appeal after appeal after appeal by the council to get stuff overturned. Eric Pickles had basically made decisions which were illegal, and then they got found out, and they basically changed it round. And now finally, a High Court judge has said, no, it's got to go. And that news broke earlier in the week, and pretty devastating, really. And also, not just for Watford, but devastating for what is ostensibly allotments in general, and what people in positions of power think of them, in terms of they're quite happy for them to be turned over, built on for profit. And if you listen to Mayor Dorothy, she'll tell you that actually this is a victory for the people of Watford and for the progress of the town. But I'm questioning that myself too, because it's progress at what price? So.
Right. Well, thank you for that, Chris. That's a really comprehensive background. Hi, Sarah, and welcome to the show.
Have to take yourself off mute. You're on mute, Sarah. You might need to work out how to do that.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to the show, Sarah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, it's been a terribly sad week for all the plot holders and for all the campaigners, because we've grown as a group, and it's not just the people who have an allotment on Farm Terrace. It's also other supporters in Watford, other allotment holders, and it has grown into a huge national campaign. So Wednesday marked a very sad day for us.
No, because I mean you've been fighting this for a long time, and I think Link for Growth sort of became aware of it in May 2015 when you appeared on the show, and Chris interviewed you down on the terrace. And since then, you've been to court twice, I think, since that occasion, haven't you?
Yes, that's right. Yes, we were in court in July of 2014, sorry, and then and we found out that we won in the October, and then Watford Borough Council put in an immediate. They changed a few facts, put in another submission, and then that was granted earlier this year, and we basically took it back to judicial review, and we were at the High Courts again in October. October? Yeah, October. And then because we were given 3 months notice period, it had to happen quite quickly. And so we found out on Wednesday that we'd failed, and our fantastic legal team sort of said, they were quite happy to appeal it because they felt very strongly about it. But they did say, each time you appeal it, it gets harder and harder, because seemingly to us, the government keeps changing the goalposts. And so we decided that we needed to call it a day, but it was a very difficult decision to make. And in fact, today at 5 o'clock, all those wishing to relocate to another allotment site had to hand in their keys. So today really is a very important day, and also a tragic day for many of us.
Yes, and of course the irony is, in a way, is that there's no guarantee the scheme is going to go ahead, is there?
No, that's right. And I think that's what we were really fighting for in court this time was, I don't want to get too much involved with the legalities because it's very complicated. But basically, since we won last time, they changed the rules. So there are a set of rules you have to deregulate an allotment, and they didn't meet those. So now what the government has done is said, oh, well, that's all right. If they don't meet them, they could claim exceptional circumstances, which Watford Borough Council did. But it was never clear to us, and in fact, it still remains very unclear to us as to what exceptional circumstances are. And so what our fantastic legal team, argued that, that basically there should be a stipulation on there that, let's say it's for the hospital, if the hospital does wish to expand at any point in the future, that you say, okay, once the hospital is in the financial position to go ahead, then that land will be deregulated. And that's what we were really hoping for, instead of which the judge said, no, the Secretary of State says it's exceptional circumstances, so it's exceptional circumstances. And this is the worrying part, going back to what Chris was saying about allotments up and down the country, is that basically it seems that if a council wants to deregulate them, they can just claim exceptional circumstances. And what's interesting is we put in a Freedom of Information Act to find out how many allotments have been deregulated since this law has been changed. And strangely enough, the information is not forthcoming, and we've ended up having to make a complaint about it because we think that they're hiding something. We think that quite a lot of allotments have been deregulated on this exceptional circumstances.
So because the special circumstances haven't been defined by the Justice Lang, is it?
Justice Lang who found for it, yeah.
Who ruled in your case, because she hasn't given a definition to it, it kind of leaves a gap in the legislation in terms of how exceptional circumstances are defined.
Yes, that's right. There's certainly no parameter there, and it leaves it wide open to abuse, basically. And you know, whenever a case like this happens, it becomes a benchmark, and if that's the benchmark, if that's the case, then yes, unfortunately, this really it's big trouble. And I would even go as far as to say not just for allotments, because I think for parks have to be deregulated, sort of green space has to be deregulated. So if allotments can go, then it is quite scary about where do they stop, because although we understand the need to build housing, there is also an equal need to keep green space and to keep community space. And we've always said it's very narrow-minded, and it sort of lacks vision, if you will, to keep building and building and building. It's short-term greed, basically. And it's kind of heartbreaking for us because, as you know well, I know it's a cliche, but it is true that when it's gone, it's gone. You're not going to get that green space back again.
No, it tends, and there does seem a reluctance, certainly in the UK, to build on brownfield sites.
Yeah, that's right. And there are a lot of the area, going back to Watford. Sorry, there's a lot of the area that around where we stay in Farm Terrace, it is brownfield, and this has been our argument as well. Is that realistically, Farm Terrace is about 20% of the total land of the area. So they really didn't need Farm Terrace to begin with. They have all this other area that they could develop. And we've always said, that we're willing to compromise, we're willing to give up some of the land, but we wanted an allotment to stay there as it has been there since 1896. But the lack of vision, the lack of empathy by the council has been shocking. And not once has there been has Mayor Dorothy come down there. There was a consultation process, but it was really weak and it wasn't well advertised, and it was many years ago. There's been nothing recently. So it all has been quite heartbreaking for us. And unfortunately, it's something that seems to be happening in Watford rather a lot.
Okay. Now, someone who just looks at the bald facts and figures might just say, well, there are only 21 plot holders on 128 plots. But they're ignoring the fact that the council closed the waiting list in 2012.
Yeah, that's right. And they did that very much on purpose. They weren't supposed to close it, but they did. And they've never reopened it. And so obviously, I mean, to put that in some sort of context, when I first got an allotment 8 years ago, it was over 90% occupancy. So over 90% of the plots were being worked. We now sort of come along 8 years later, and like you say, we're down to, I think it's 16 plot holders now, with various plots, because sometimes people have 2 plots and sometimes people have half. But and a lot of it does look derelict, and a lot of it does look like wasteland. But it depends. It's an interesting point, because when we first went to look at our plot 8 years ago, it was overgrown, but we didn't see it as being derelict. We saw it as being a possibility to have our own area to grow food. So where Dorothy tries to sell it as being, she's even used words like contaminated and toxic and things like that, which is certainly not true of the allotments. It might be true of the surrounding areas, but she's tried to tarnish us with that brush. It's not true. There was a possibility there. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. She never talks about that. She never talks about the fact that they closed it, that nobody's been allowed to take on a new plot there since 2012.
Okay, well, look, thank you very much for coming on the show. Have you decided if you want to take up a new allotment? I know the council have made an alternative plan or offer, and you alluded to it earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, they have to, because they're regulating the allotment, they have to offer an area that could put all of us on. And the area that they offered was in South Oxley and Paddock Road, but it was far too far for us. Since we received the decision on Wednesday, there are about 8 plot holders who are willing to take on a new plot. So now we're thinking that we could move to Holywell or Brightwell, just down the bottom of Vicarage Road, which would be nearer than South Oxley. It's difficult because my heart's not in it, if I'm honest. You know, my kids grow up on that plot. We put a lot of time and effort in. But I do think that, you know, I'm fighting for allotments for a reason, and because the thing for me is the community aspect of it. And the thing for me is the, you know, it's the mixing of people, it's the mixing of generations. So I think if we don't have an allotment, that would be very sad. And it would also be really nice to move together with the other plot holders and support each other through that transition. So yes, we are looking at that, and hopefully that will happen and it will ease our pain a little bit.
Okay, well, look, good luck with the new plot, and thank you very much for coming on the show and telling us all about your struggle to keep Farm Terrace allotments open.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
That's okay. Pleasure, Jane. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Chris?
Yeah.
Lots of interesting things said there, weren't there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad ending, and it's you know, you can see it from both sides of the fence, and you know, there are going to be people in the Dorothy camp who are going to be saying, you know, we've got a few belligerent people here trying to, you know, look after their own interests with an allotment, and they're in the way of the town developing. And yet I just see the absolute reluctance to get around the table and mediate and actually come up with something. It's been the thousands upon thousands of pounds that have been spent in court here. Taxpayers' money could have all been avoided if we'd had people who were prepared to sit around a table and do this like adults. Instead, we've had people going to court to prove I'm better or I win, I've won the case. So just to, almost, it's got to be like just heads jamming together. It's just like you want to knock some sense into the people and say, look, for heaven's sake, this is people's lives here, and it's big story, it's big change, and let's just sit around the table and deal with this. Instead, hundreds of thousands of pounds and court time and all of this, which is money that's been just been thrown at the hands of legal firms for, and we've still got winner and a loser, and the loser's not happy, and the winner's just going around saying, well, at least that's over now. They, you know, like we've won, about bloody time, and get on with it. And that's just wrong. In my opinion, it's wrong. It's horrible.
Yeah, if they definitely knew that a new hospital was going to be built, you could understand it. Now there's a question mark over that. It does all seem a bit pointless and a bit.
But you know, the people fighting for Farm Terrace even said, you know, when the hospital's going to be built, you can have the land. If it's for the hospital, you can have it when you need it. But there's not even any plans drawn up for the hospital yet. So it's like, how premature is this? It takes years to do that, and yet they've just been so like, no, it's our way or the highway, and I just find that a bit distasteful.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Chris. And thank you to Sara Jane as well for coming on the show. Catherine.
Hello.
Hello. Let's talk about some events, because there are some good things happening in Watford. It's not all bad. Lots of charity, lots of other events happening. So let's start the charity events. And the Michael Sobel Hospice have a festive fair tomorrow.
Yep. This is the festive fair for the Michael Sobel Hospice tomorrow. It's a gift fair, lots of festive things going on, 10 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. It's free entry, free parking, a whole variety of gift stalls, Red Cross massages, sounds interesting. There's a kiddie corner full of activities and live entertainment. And this is at the Michael Sobel Centre, Gate 3, Mount Vernon Hospital in Northwood. So that's happening tomorrow from 10.
Okay. And there's an older person's awareness learning event in South Oxley on Tuesday. Sorry.
Yes, nicknamed Opal, Older Persons Awareness and Learning, as you say, in South Oxley. It's on Tuesday, the 8th of November. It's from 11 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon with the Clitheroe Health and Wellbeing Club. It's a free event, but residents will need a ticket so that the event can be catered for accordingly. There's refreshments, a light lunch, there's an optional chair exercise session, there's freebies, and there's speakers from a variety of agencies, and also a raffle. Looks like it's organised by Three Rivers, Watford and Three Rivers Trust Safety Partnership. So yeah, happening on the 8th of November at 11 in the morning.
Okay. Now, Christmas isn't that far away. I know we haven't got Bonfire Night quite out the way yet. And there's a pop-up shop at 9 Lives.
Yes, pop-up Christmas shop at 9 Lives Furniture. This is on the 9th of November through to the 14th of December. There's jewellery, candles, key rings, paintings, gifts, Christmas cards, baby goods, all sorts of craft supplies, bags, coin purses, dog bandanas, if that's your thing. This is at 25 Wharf Lane, Rickmansworth. And as I say, from the 9th of November through to the 14th of December, that's your pop-up Christmas shop at 9 Lives Furniture.
Okay, and the details can be found, because what they're selling changes slightly each week or each day, doesn't it? The details can be found on the Three Rivers website.
Indeed, yeah. I'll post the links up when I can a little bit later on.
Okay. Mill End have a community evening.
Yeah, this is on the 10th of November. It's a community evening on the second Thursday of each month at the Mill End Community Centre. There's a 2-course meal, choice of main and desserts, or cheese for £10. Bring a friend or come and make some new ones. Book your table by the 9th of November by phone or email to Diana at dianabarber.plus.com or 01923 896 043.
Okay, and then
Wear it festive?
Yeah, I was going to say the Hospice of St Francis.
Indeed, yes. They are wearing it festive on 16th of December from 8 in the morning through till 4 in the afternoon. Join us Friday the 16th and wear any festive garment to work or school to show your support for your local hospice. There's all the details are on their website, which is www.stfrancis.org.uk. There's lots of different ways. You can wear some Christmas antlers, you can wear some spotty red socks, or even a Santa hat. Simply donate £1 for the privilege and get all your friends and colleagues to get involved in the fun too. So yeah, that's a great initiative. Wear something festive and raise some money for the Hospice of St Francis.
Okay, and both the Michael Sobol Centre and the Peace Memorial Hospices are holding remembrance type services, and you can book your place for both of these events now.
Indeed, yeah. Michael Sobel, Light Up a Life. Every year they hold these events. It's a remembrance ceremony to remember people who have been lost over time, remember loved ones who are no longer with us. It's a non-religious service, simple but poignant collection of readings and festive songs. At the end of the ceremony, the Hospice Light Up a Life tree is lit up with each light representing the life of someone who is being remembered. This is happening on the 26th of November at 4 in the afternoon. Is that registration? Can't quite make out. It says date 26th November, end date 27th November. Not entirely sure what it is. Maybe you have to let them know that you're coming. Maybe that's what that is. But all the details are on the michaelsobelhospice.co.uk website. And as you say, the other one is the Peace Hospice. Again, they do their ceremony each year as well. Theirs is happening on Wednesday, the 7th of December, 7 p.m. for 7:30, and it's outside Watford Town Hall. So similar sort of idea. You can send a dedication message. The ceremony is happening, as I say, on the 7th of December, and you can give a donation in memory of your loved one.
Yes, the Michael Sobel Hospice, the confusion is that they're actually holding 4 events, 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. 2 on the 26th and 2 on the 27th, both starting at 4 or 6 p.m. at the Michael Sobel Centre Lecture Hall. And of course, you need to make a donation to help reserve your place.
Indeed. Okie dokie.
Okay, now it's fireworks night.
Yes, well, nearly.
Wow.
Tomorrow night is fireworks night.
I mean,
Sure, we're going to hear some tonight as well.
I mean, it was 411 years ago, so I'm only out by a day. So,
It's quite. Who's counting, honestly?
well, you are, obviously.
Well, yeah, this is the King's Stag are having a firework night, and they're doing it to raise money for the Peace Hospice, which is a lovely idea. Join the King's Stag on Saturday, the 5th of November. Remember, that's tomorrow night for a winter barbecue from 6 in the evening through till 9. There's mulled wine, there's cider, served from the fully stocked outdoor bar. Get there early. There aren't many seats outside, but there are some, and it's very cosy around the back there. And that's from 6 till 11. King's Stag regular Dan will be kicking off the professional display at 8 p.m. Dan and his expert team are responsible for a lot of the pyrotechnics in the Bond and Star Wars movies, so they sure know how to pack a punchy display. It's a free event, but the King's Stag will be raising money for the Peace Hospice Care, so please go along with your family and friends and show your support. Firework night's taking place at the King's Stag, 15 Bournehall Road, Bushey. For more information, have a look at their website. Have a look at the Peace Hospice Care website. All the details are on there.
What time does it start?
Barbecue is from 6 till 9. Outdoor bar from 6 till 11. The actual display itself is at 8 o'clock.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll talk about other firework displays in a moment, but let's first of all kind of slightly backtrack, and we'll talk about Watford Library and the events that are happening to open this new creative, mark the opening of this new creative space. So Falsetto Socks are playing tomorrow.
Yes, this is a puppet theatre company. This is happening tomorrow. It's the Scottish Falsetto Sock Puppet Theatre, and they're doing Shakespeare. This sounds like good fun. Kids will love it. Fun for all the family. Earth's Funniest Footwear returned with a brand new show of songs, sketches, socks, and violence, taking on the bard himself. Intriguing. So this is tomorrow. It's from 7:30 in the evening through till 9:30 in the evening. Tickets are £10. It's aimed at 12 years plus. There's strong language, so parental guidance is there. Tickets are available at the library and online at hertfordshire.gov.uk/library events tickets. That sounds like fun.
Okay, and on Sunday, there's Little Red Riding Hood.
Yes, indeed. Again, Watford Library, as you say, Sunday. This is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Tickets are £5 per family from the library or again online. Little Red Riding Hood and Friends. Something different.
Okay. There are loads of fireworks displays.
I'm not going to read them all.
Okay. So there's Russell School firework displays this evening, and that's details and everything is for pupils and parents only. St Joseph's Roman Catholic Primary School fireworks display is starting this evening at 7:15. Tickets £3, adults, children £1. York Mead Primary School musical fireworks display at Dulwich Way, Croxley Green is this evening. Display starts at 7, doors open at 6. Advance booking per family of 4, £15, maximum 2 adults, £5 for each adult and £4 for children. Children under 3 are free. Tickets bought at the event, adults £6, children £5, no family ticket. So that's this evening at the York Mead Primary School. Right, let's play tag here. Alice Langley, you talk about that one.
Well, I'll mention them very briefly, and then I'll put the link up and everybody can read it themselves. Abbots Langley is tonight. Canterbury Park is tomorrow night, starting 6 p.m. Through to 8:30. Croxley Green Community Club is tomorrow night. Nice bar there, actually. We've had a beer festival there before. Maple Cross Junior School, that's tomorrow night from 5 till 8. Sacred Heart Fireworks display, Maryhill Road, that's tomorrow also from 6:30. And I think that's about it. Stay safe with fireworks. Don't get sparklers too in your face.
Okay, except we missed out the big one, which is taking place in Canterbury Park tomorrow night.
Yeah, that one too. It's tomorrow. It's 6 p.m. You can actually just pop along to Watford Beer Festival first of all, go and see the fireworks, come back to Watford Beer Festival, which is at the West Hart Sports and Social Club. So we'll see you there.
So the beer festival is on tonight as well, isn't it?
It is. It started yesterday. It's on tonight, tomorrow night. I did have a little bit of a flyer thing here somewhere. Here we go. So times it's on from 4 in the afternoon till 11. Friday and Saturday it's actually on from 11 in the morning through till 11. And looks like Saturday is the last day as well. So be warned, if you leave it to the last minute, there might not be much beer left.
Okay.
And just to say as well, the Hertfordshire Beer of the Year was presented to Pope's Yard Brewery last night. So jolly well done them.
Okay, and of course they're friends of the show, and they've been on the show a couple of occasions.
Absolutely, yes. I was tweeting with Barbara yesterday, but she was singing the praises of the beer festival, saying how lovely it was. But yeah, it's always a really lively affair. Entrance is £2.50, but it's free for Canberra members, so remember to take your card. There's hot and cold food available. There's a great big marquee outside, so there's plenty of room for everybody. Really hoping there's some heaters in there. They usually are, so it's usually quite cosy. And if you go on Saturday night, then there's a quiz night as well. So that's always good fun.
Okay, and those ever don't mix alcohol and fireworks.
Yes, quite.
Okay, now there's news about the big skate.
Yes, sorry, yeah, wrong window pop up there. Okay, no, that's more fireworks. Skate. The big skate is back. I will tell you when in a moment. Saturday the 26th of November. And it's going on right through to the 15th of January. Last year, part of Watford's big event series, saw more than 10,000 people take to the ice. But it's set to be even more spectacular this time around. I don't know whether it's actually going to be bigger than last year. Last year was certainly bigger than the year before. But this year it's going to be equipped with even better view areas and a bar, serving festive food and drinks to suit all ages. There's a host of twinkling Christmas trees and fairy lights, bringing the festive spirit to life for skaters. To mark the opening day, the Birmingham Ice freestylers will once again be wowing crowds with their ice acrobatics and dancing throughout the day. This is always, I suppose 3 years now it's been running, and it's incredibly popular, especially during the day with the kids. They have an absolutely fabulous time on the ice. It's always busy there. So, yeah, do plan a trip to go and do some shopping, have a bit of a skate, stay for a drink and whatever, and enjoy the town centre. Okay, and there's no German market this year? No, indeed, no. The trader said that they made a bit of a loss last year. They weren't that enamoured with it, so it was decided not to actually have the German market in the town centre this year. I don't think it was quite as popular as they thought it would be. There was also some damage done to some of the stalls as well, and a number of thefts. So, yeah, it didn't go down quite as well as it should have, really. Maybe they'll try something else in a year or so's time. Let's see. Okay, and Watersmeet have Bridget Jones's Baby film showing on Wednesday the 9th, is that? Yes, it's Wednesday, isn't it? The 9th, yeah. Showing at 2 in the afternoon and 5 in the afternoon. Not quite sure how long it lasts, probably a couple of hours. Oh yes, it says there is an 8 o'clock screening, but that's actually fully booked already. So tickets are £5 for adults, £4 for concessions, and there's £1 per ticket booking fee. Charge on all bookings paid online or by telephone. Sorry, I thought it was funny. So yes, that's Bridget Jones's Baby. Right, okay. Now then, Palace Theatre, they have a couple of things happening. First of which is a stage production of House of Data Feminist. Indeed, yes. There's Laundry Productions presenting How to Date a Feminist. This is happening on various different dates. Friday the 4th of November, Saturday the 5th, 2 showings, 2:30 and 8 in the evening. There is on Saturday the 5th, after the 8 o'clock performance, there's a question and answer session as well. So you can throw fire questions at the people on stage and see them squirm answering them. But it's always a really informative time, especially if it's something that you're interested in and really want to know more about. It can be really, really good. Yeah, Steve is a feminist. Kate likes her man, tall, dark and smouldering. She has a fatal attraction to bad men. Then she meets Steve. Steve is a feminist. Can she overcome her love of lipstick, cupcakes and Heathcliff? Can he forego the ethical confetti and learn to be a little more ravishing in bed? Can the two of them reinvent romance for the 21st century? Well, I guess you just have to go and find out. So, yeah, as I say, 4th and 5th of November. That's over the weekend. Tickets £14, concessions are £2 off. Go and have some fun.
Okay, and there's an amateur production of Legally Blonde on Tuesday running to Saturday.
Absolutely, yeah. I saw a preview of this when I was at the Audentia Awards, and it looks fabulous. We say amateur production, but actually they were just like professionals. It was really, really good, a great showcase for them. This is Casio Productions presenting Legally Blonde. Legally Blonde follows blonde bombshell Elle Woods, who seemingly has it all: a pink wardrobe, a Greek chorus of sorority girls, and her dream man, until he leaves her for being too Marilyn. Deciding that she needs to be serious to win him back, she follows him to Harvard Law School, where she finds she has to work a little harder than anticipated. See how it all turns out. It's a great show, great music, and some great acting there as well. It's a really innovative cast. So tickets are stalls are $17.50 and $14.50, Circle is $19.50, Upper Circle $14.50, and children stalls only £10. It's running from the 8th of November through to the 12th. Get your tickets now, they're selling quickly.
Okay, now Watford Coliseum's got a couple of fully booked events coming up, such as Rod Stewart Tribute Evening and stuff like that, but there are still tickets available for the Czech National Symphony Orchestra.
Yep, if you fancy something classical, this is your thing. As you say, it's Watford Coliseum, Czech National Symphony Orchestra, world-class performances on Tuesday the 8th of November. Excuse me. I won't list everything that's there. Do go to Watford Coliseum website, have a look, have a read of what's going on there. They've got a fantastic hall for classical music. It really does sound incredibly good, which is why we often have the BBC filming there, of course. Tickets for this particular performance range from £17 up to £39.50, depending on where you're sitting. So do get your tickets quickly for that one, because they will sell out fairly soon. Okay,
well, from Dvorak, we now go to Andy Robb.
Indeed, yes. And Andy Robb plays cheesy tunes of the 80s, 90s and 2000s at the Horns. Yeah, get on down there. It's free entry before 9:30, 3 o'clock thereafter, 9 through till 1 in the morning, so you can dance the night away.
Don't you just love the way I put this show together?
Oh dear, oh dear.
Okay, and tomorrow's Scandal are playing.
Absolutely, yeah. If fireworks isn't your thing, as a beer festival isn't your thing, get on down to the Horns and you can see Scandal. It's a 6-piece covers band. Apparently they need no introduction at all, but I will anyway. They're Horns regulars, always a great party night. Covers play with talent and enthusiasm. It's from 9:30 in the evening through to 1 in the morning, and it's free.
Okay, and then Sunday they've got two gigs. We'll start off with the Dirty Dog Band on the afternoon,
with a fantastic picture. Actually, do go on to their the Horns gig, guys. There's a fantastic picture of a very scrappy looking dog. The Dirty Dog Band, they play various tunes. They're a 4-piece band. Great to be back at this excellent venue. Come and join us for a rocking afternoon. So this is Sunday. It's from 4 till 7 in the afternoon, and it's free. The other one was Engine Room. A rock covers an original 3-piece band, and they're playing from 8 o'clock in the evening. Again, they're free, and that's on Sunday.
Okay. Now, Michael Green Foundation have got a wine tasting event coming up on the 25th of November, and tickets are still available, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Friday the 25th, as you say, starts at 8 o'clock in the evening. There'll be a whole selection of whites and reds and our mystery wine, of course. Flagship Wines will be there presenting all the bottles. They know everything from every wine right down to the side of the hill that they grew on. So do go along for what will prove to be a fantastic evening, raising money for the Michael Green Foundation as well, raising money for awareness of type 2 diabetes and for Watford Hospital. Tickets are £25 in advance only from me, Diane, or Neal at Reason. See you there.
Okay, thank you for that. And Yellow Comedy and Watford Women's Centre have got another comedy night on the 3rd of December.
Indeed, yes. As you say, raising money for Watford Women's Centre. They did one last year, didn't they, which was very well attended, raised lots of money. And this is another great way to showcase a comedy that's happening locally and also to help a local charity. So I'm just trying to see who's headlining. It's Steve Owen Williams. You and I have both seen him at Attico, haven't we? And he's absolutely fantastic. He actually drew a huge crowd, didn't he, that night? So I think we're on for something pretty amazing on this particular occasion. It's at, what was the date of it? I can't see the date on it.
Saturday the 3rd of December. It's on down at the Pump House. Doors open about 7:15. Comedy starts at 8 o'clock.
Indeed. Tickets are £7 if bought from the centre. £8 and threepence is that? Right. Or £9 on the door.
Yes, on the night. Yeah, it's Eventbrite and it's their commission rates. And
the threepence makes all the difference, I'm sure.
Exactly. Okay. Appearing also is Sonia Ast, who you and I have both seen. She's a Spanish comedian who is very, very funny. Rosie Holt, who's also an amazingly talented young lady. John Long, who I came second in the King or Queen of Hearts competition last year. Absolutely amazing comedian. Pete White, who is well known for his one-liners, which are quite.
Yes, I think he's got some new ones as well. I saw him on Facebook the other day.
Yes, he's always got some good stuff. So that should be an absolutely fabulous evening coming up. Link for Growth next week. Chris, are you still here?
Ooh.
No, obviously not, so I will do that.
No,
No, he's gone. He's too slow.
You're zapped into the ether.
No, he's zapped into the ether. So I'm just very briefly going to talk about Link for Growth next week. Monday the 7th, there's coffee at the kitchen in Croxley. So it's another opportunity for Chris to try lemon drizzle cake. On the Monday evening, that is followed by the National Link for Growth Twitter Mingle, which is a great opportunity to get introductions to other Link for Growth members around the country and maybe offer some networking opportunities. People might say, well, how does that work? Well, it does work because I know that you can offer personal testimony to that, can't you? Catherine.
Sorry, yes, sorry, I was absolutely miles away. Sorry, I was just going through my restaurant review. I'm so sorry. Are we talking about the Mercure, coffee at the Mercure on Thursday?
No, we're talking about the National Twitter Mingle.
Oh, that! Gosh, yes. Is that happening soon too?
Quite a good business contact through it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I've met all sorts of people up and down the country. People I've never actually met physically, but yes, over the social media networks, particularly Twitter. Yeah, you can meet all sorts of people and end up doing business with them, which is fantastic.
Okay, and let's now talk about the Mercure because you're hosting it.
That's me Thursday. Too. Yeah, and I'm listening now. Yes, this is happening on Thursday. It happens at the Mercure Hotel on the A41, and it's from 10, is it 10:30? It's from 10 in the morning through till 11:30. I will be there on time. In fact, I should be there early. Look for the banner and come on downstairs and join us for coffee and chat.
Okay, that's great. And as you alluded to, you have a restaurant review for us this week.
Absolutely, yes. I was just looking at the menu and remembering what I had last night. It's a chain. It's Pizza Express. They are a big chain, but they employ lots of local people. And we were there last night, as I said, so that's what I'm going to review. We had some very, very yummy pizzas. They also do some really lovely salads there as well. You can book online. You can turn up. We just turned up, actually. I think there were 6 of us. And they were very, very accommodating, and we sat down very easily. They do lots of gluten-free choices. There's lots of different menus catered for. They do a vast selection of pizza. If pizza really is your thing, this is the place to go. Not so much in the way of sort of meat, fish, and pasta bits and pieces, but very much a pizza menu. All different shapes and sizes, even the ones with a hole in the middle with salad filled in the hole, which are quite healthy. As I say, you can book online, you can order online as well. They also do various offers. At the moment, they're doing a 25% off food with a taste of autumn. But this is just on Sunday the 6th of November. But you can use your voucher all day. Just go online and have a look at the voucher, or just have it on your phone. But that'll be available all day on Sunday. They're also doing a deal of starter and a main for $10.95 or 3 courses for $13.95. I recommend them. There's a really good atmosphere in there. They're a nice bunch of people, and we were there for a birthday celebration, daughter's 19th birthday. She chose it, and what a good choice. We all enjoyed it.
Okay, that sounds absolutely fabulous. That's it for this week's show. As usual, you can get in touch with us via Twitter at L4G SW Herts. So if you have a campaign that you want to talk about or make us aware of, or an event that you feel needs wider publicity, then please get in touch with us through Twitter at L4G SW Herts. That's at L4G SW Herts. And we'll mention it on the show, or we'll send Chris out to interview you or something like that. Apologies to Chris for cutting him off there at the end. I didn't think he was coming back, so I faded him out, and once you fade someone out with this technology, you can't get them back, unfortunately. But many thanks to Chris for talking about Link for Growth events last week and the future of Link for Growth with it becoming an association, and for briefing us on some of the nuances on the Farm Terrace story. Also, many thanks to Sara Jane Trebar for coming onto the show and talking about the High Court ruling earlier this week. As usual, a big thank you to Neal for his outstanding sports reporting and his thoughts and comments on what's happening at Watford and with other local teams around. It was really good again to hear someone so knowledgeable talk about these things, which is great. And thank you to Catherine for talking about all the events that are happening, both charity and commercial events, and beer and comedy events and food events and wine events and everything else, and for the restaurant review as well.
You can see what I enjoy doing, can't you? And anybody who's out about tonight, I should be at the beer festival tonight and tomorrow night, so get yourself down there.
Okay. Are you planning to just sort of stay overnight, or do you intend to come home?
It's a possibility at the moment, to be honest. We packed a sleeping bag just in case.
Well, okay. Well, I can imagine your dog sort of like,
You'll be fine. Kira's back home for a couple of days.
Okay. Right. Well, have a good evening, and we will see everyone next week for more Link for Growth, South West Herts TV. And until then, have a good week. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.